Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Zane Allen, and today I'm going to be talking about what role you should pick in Star Wars The Old Republic. Picking a role in Star Wars The Old Republic is probably one of the tougher things for newer players to do. We're going to talk about all three roles, what they do, what their benefits are, and why you should pick them. Apologies in advance, I am a little bit sick, so I sound a little bit rough, but I'm still here to talk about the classes, so let's hop right into it. But before we get into the guide, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much, because we just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is absolutely bonkers. I have been on Christmas vacation for the past couple of weeks. I had some videos pre-recorded, but I kind of ran out of content to post. So the support that I've been getting on my videos, even though I haven't uploaded in about a week, has just absolutely meant the world to me. You guys have been so good to me, and I have seen so many people coming into my Twitch chat and coming in and finding me in game to tell me how much my content has helped them, and that honestly means the world to me. That's why I do this. And so that being said, if you want to support my content and if you like my guides, go ahead and hit the like button, throw me a subscribe, and leave me a comment down below telling me what content you would like to see from me. And as always, you can always come over to twitch.tv/ZaneAllenTV. I stream multiple nights a week, anywhere from 4 to 6 nights a week. I play lots of Star Wars The Old Republic. I also play other fun games with my friends. It's always a really good time. I like hanging out and talking with chat. Pretty lively community over here, so feel free to check us out. But I've done enough yapping, so let's go ahead and talk about what role you should choose in Star Wars The Old Republic. So if you're new to MMOs, or honestly a lot of other games, there are 3 main roles that you can play: tank, damage, and heals. Tanks are always the classes that are more beefy, they can take more damage, they have more health, they can sustain a lot of damage. They aren't usually doing a whole lot of damage. Their main goal is to absorb as much damage as they can and to live as long as possible. Now, in Star Wars The Old Republic, tanks are exactly that. During solo content, you'll find that you're going to be able to survive a lot longer, you're going to have a lot of more defensive abilities, you're not going to do as much damage, but it's going to be really hard for something to take you out. In group content, such as flashpoints and operations, the tank is usually the one that is taking the aggro or the attention of the boss. The tank absorbs the damage from the boss while getting healing from the healer, so that the healer and the damage players don't get as much damage from the boss. Tanks are usually more of a walking meat shield, as I like to think of them, and honestly, they can be really fun to play. I feel as though tanks get kind of a bad rep because you don't really get to do a lot of damage, but the thing about tanking is that you have to know your mechanics. You are going to get the attention of the boss, and so if the boss has a mechanic, you need to know what it is so that you don't accidentally wipe out your entire team. It can be a lot of pressure, but that also makes it a whole lot of fun. You're the one interacting with the boss the most, you're kind of the top dog, kind of the leader of the group. Really important things for a tank are your endurance, your armor, knowing what defensive abilities you have and when to use them. So whereas most people tend to play solo content as a damage/DPS player, a lot of these people do end up switching to tank later on because honestly, it's a lot of fun. But there are benefits to playing as a tank during the solo content. Don't need as good of a companion, whereas for a damage player, you may be taking a lot more damage, so you need a higher level companion that's able to heal you. Tank players won't take as much damage, so that's not really necessary. At the end of the day, your tank is your backbone of your group content. Damage and healer players tend to be pretty squishy, and so those tanks are going to be the ones absorbing damage, taking damage, have high health. They're going to be the ones that are going to lead you to victory. Also, in PvP, tanks tend to do really well because of all of these defensive abilities. They may not do the most damage and get the most kills, but they're the ones that are able to play the objective. They're able to stall and play defense for a long time, and they can be really effective if you play them right. So if you're the type of person that wants to live a long time, basically never die, have the attention of the boss, be the one to pull the boss, live for ages in PvP, maybe tank is the way to go for you. And I'd even say, if you're kind of new at the game and you're playing solo content like leveling through your class story, a tank might be a good choice for you. It'll allow you to live a lot longer, especially if you're trying to solo a lot of content like solo heroics, because some of those can take out some of the more squishy damage players. But if you're a tank, you'll be able to survive a lot longer. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would really recommend playing tank. The tank classes in the game are Jedi Guardian, Sith Juggernaut, Jedi Shadow, and Sith Assassin, and also Republic Vanguard and Imperial Power Tech. But let's go ahead and move on to the second role that we're going to talk about, which is DPS. Now, DPS means damage per second. It just means damage. It's more of an abbreviation if you didn't know. So DPS tends to be the favorite role pretty much in every game that I've ever seen ever. And that's for good reason. You do a lot of damage, you get a lot of kills, it's usually the more fun roles to play, and for the most part, that's usually correct. In solo content, like if you're leveling the class story, you're going to be flying through it, you're going to be killing everything. However, you may be a little bit more squishy than you think, so just be careful, and remember to keep a med pack or two on hand. Obviously, the goal of damage players is to do as much damage as possible, and that is especially true in group content. Sometimes for flashpoints, but especially in operations. I think a lot of people don't put as much emphasis on really knowing what you're doing as DPS. It is the most beginner-friendly role because you can just hit things and do damage and that's your entire job, but there is a really high skill ceiling. You can keep improving again and again and again. You're gonna get your DPS levels higher and higher as you learn your class, learn your abilities, learn your rotation. The possibilities with DPS are honestly endless. Not to mention, it's probably the most fun to play in PvP because you're just killing everything. For the most part, when someone starts playing the game, I'm always going to recommend that they play through the first time as a DPS player. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a DPS player. I know DPS players that only play DPS, but they're really good at it. And besides, everyone in this game has a different goal. Some people may want to play through the solo stories as fast as possible, enjoying them of course, but they want to be able to kill things fast and it not take forever. Whereas some other people may want to top the charts in their guild operation night. There's just so many different ways that you can play the game, and DPS, you can do pretty much all of them. Alright, and so let's move on to our final role, healing. Now, if you guys know me, if you've ever been in my Twitch streams, you'll know that healing is my favorite role of all time. And that doesn't just go for Star Wars The Old Republic, that goes for pretty much every game that I play as well. I don't know what it is about it, I just really enjoy it. I've always enjoyed it. In fact, I enjoy healing so much that I became a nurse in real life. And that's only halfway a joke, but there's just something about it that I really enjoy. It takes a lot of focus, it takes a lot of teamwork, and it really takes knowing what you're doing, but it's pretty enjoyable. You're never going to be bored as a healer. As a healer, your main focus is keeping things alive. Obviously. Healers are really only necessary in group content. I wouldn't say that you really need to play as a healer while doing your solo class story. However, I will say that I have recommended to people, if they have come to me asking for advice, how do I become a better healer? How do I understand how to be a healer? I've always said, I learned how to be a mercenary healer by starting at level 1 and I played all the way to level 80 in the healing spec. It took me a long time, but I understood my abilities pretty much in and out by that point. Brick wall that a lot of people hit when starting to heal is that they level to 80 in a DPS spec, and then they try to switch over to healing spec, and it's very confusing. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. In fact, that's what I do for most of my healing characters. It's kind of a pain to level 1 through 80 as a healer. But if you've been struggling, that's just a tip that I can give to you. In group content, the healers are the ones healing the whole group. They're keeping everyone alive. And honestly, I will say that healers are the most needed role in the game. And I feel as though that's pretty common for games, is that we need more healers. I feel like a lot of people are nervous to start healing. They don't really know where to start. They're afraid that they're going to be bad and the whole team's going to die and then everyone's going to tell them they're trash. But honestly, the only way to learn how to heal is to start doing it. If you're somebody that really enjoys teamwork and group play, if you like more of a unique experience, then healing might be for you. Honestly, for me, it's really enjoyable. I know all the operations in and out, but honestly, they're mostly from the perspective of a healer. A healer has a really wide perspective of most operations and group content in general. They have to know where all the moving pieces are gonna be so that they can heal effectively. I have to know what the tank is doing, what the DPS are doing. I have to watch my DPS because they're squishy. I have to keep my other healer alive. I have to anticipate when my tank is gonna take a whole lot of damage. It is honestly really, really fun. It can be really challenging and really stressful, especially when your team is taking a whole lot of damage, and that is why I love it so much. So if you like a challenge and any of this sounds appealing to you, definitely consider leveling a healing character or adding a healing loadout to one of your pre-existing characters. I'm definitely going to be making some healing guides in the future. Over on my Twitch, twitch.tv/ZaneAllenTV, we have a running gag that I'm the #1 mercenary healer in NA. It is self-proclaimed, but I like to think that I'm pretty decent. And so this is knowledge that I would like to share with everybody so that we can all continue to grow, heal more, and play together as much as possible. I feel like healing is really slept on, so if any of this sounds interesting to you, definitely give it a shot. Don't be afraid of it. But that is all I have for you guys today. Sorry, I know it's kind of a short, simple guide, kind of just talking about the roles. I really was going to do a full breakdown of every class, but like I said, I'm not feeling well. So look forward to that in the future. Again, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for the support. It is just honestly, it has just blown me away. And I've made so many cool connections and so many friends from streaming already, and we're only a few months in. You guys are crazy. The community is like the best community of all time. And so look forward to more content in the future. We're not slowing down, we're locking in, and if you guys want to see any guides, there's anything in the game that confuses you, now's the time to ask because I'm back, no more vacation, and I'm ready to make content for you guys. But without further ado, just remember that there's happiness out there, you just have to find it. You're beautiful, you're loved, you're worth it. Thanks everybody for watching, tell somebody you love them. My name is Zane, bye bye.